Hi everybody, 30 Days of Corsets Day 25, and today's question asks, what is my favorite fashion fabric for corsets? And this is going to be a very boring answer because I love silk. More silk charmeuse, like this sort of satin woven silk, as opposed to the raw silk, like the dupe peony silk. There's nothing wrong with that, and I own plenty of corsets with dupe peony, but I love that smooth satin feel rather than the raw slubs of the dupe peony. So yeah, there's something that is both like traditional and exciting about silk. It is both luxurious and very classic. It can be surprisingly difficult to master making a corset that is very smooth and wrinkle free, getting it to lie nice and flat, because you have to have knowledge of flat lining and turn of cloth. You have to know how to roll pin it. You have to know what to interface it with, like what to back it onto so that it is strong enough and it lies smooth and it's not like crispy or crusty on the body, but it doesn't have like enough tension on it to have the seams start to come apart. So even though it seems like such a simple or a boring kind of fabric compared to, say, lots of different types of decorative brocades out there, or say some of the more specialist coutils like spot coutil or satin coutil or something, there's just something so classic about the silk. I also find myself moving away from synthetic fabrics like polyester as I get older, because I find it more comfortable to wear natural fabrics against my skin. I feel that it is more breathable. I feel that it's cooler to wear in warm weather. I find that it just feels nicer against my skin because for whatever reason, either my skin is becoming more sensitive or I'm just becoming a little bit like snobbier and pickier about like what fabrics I like against my body. But also I can't like work in a fashion or a textile industry and not learn about the whole production process of polyester and synthetic fabrics and how it contributes to economic strain and environmental pollution. There's a lot of different consequences to buying and supporting and wearing synthetic fabrics. Just the fast fashion and the cheap disposable fabrics where people care more about quantity over quality, so they don't care about the longevity of the fabric, and how polyester it doesn't really fully break down. It doesn't biodegrade, but it contributes to microplastic pollution. And I want to contribute less towards all of that as I get older. And I feel that I'm not like expressing myself very eloquently in this video because I'm trying to make it really short and sweet, because these 30 days of corset videos are not supposed to be more than a few minutes long. Perhaps in the future I will actually sit down and make an outline on my full stance on synthetic fabrics and whatnot. But that said, I am not faulting anybody if they really like synthetic fabrics and if they happen to prefer corsets that have synthetic fashion fabrics. I still own corsets that have synthetic fashion fabrics like polyester, and I sell Thomas Transit corsets, and many of those corsets have polyester satin fashion fabrics as well. So I can't be hypocritical about this. But if it came down to preference, I would prefer to support and sell more corsets that are fully natural fabrics. But there's a reason why when I initially came out with my Gemini and my Libra corsets that they were in the cashmere and the cotton, because they're all natural fibers. And then with the Gemini corset we brought in the purple satin just due to popular demand, and so that ended up being synthetic. But there was a reason why I specifically wanted to start with the more natural fibers as sort of like the base first run to sort of test out the market. But at the end of the day, a business won't survive if they don't cater to what the customers want. So yeah, that's where a lot of the synthetic fibers come in. And a cool thing that I'm seeing more of these days is that there are corset makers who are devoting themselves and their craft to recycling a lot of different fabrics and making sure that they're not contributing too much to the waste in the landfill when it comes to fabric scrap. straps. So one notable corset maker who she says that between 30 and 100% of the materials used in her corsets are repurposed. And that is Kitty Mortensen. She's also a model, but she also owns Laced Creations. And it is really cool to see what she makes from these secondhand dresses and things that would otherwise go to the landfill, or recycled and repurposed fabrics. So that is a really great way of taking something that is not biodegradable and would contribute otherwise to plastic pollution and turning it into a really beautiful heirloom piece that could possibly, you know, be kept and cherished and passed down from one generation to another. So I think that she's really doing some great work. So I invite you to check her out. I'll put a link to her social in the description down below. So that's all for this video, and understandably, most off-the-rack corset companies sell like a synthetic polyester satin for their fashion fabrics. So if you happen to own a lot of those, it's not a problem at all. But what you tend to own most of and what your personal preference is might be different. So if you have a particular type of fabric that you really love for the fashion fabric of your corsets, whether that is polyester satin or silk satin, or a specific type of floral brocade, or some of those special coutilles like spot couture or cotton back satin, let me know what it is in a comment down below. I would love to know your thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in reading the comments if there's other people contributing to this conversation. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next week for another video.